Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the new Retro Cup, or like the Retro Cup that has already been there several times before, but the meta shifted a little bit this season with some new additions like a Rage Fist on primeape, which you're going to have here today. Again, if my voice sounds a little bit different than usual, I'm a little bit sick, so sorry about this one. But anyway, we're going to move on here with the gameplay. We're going to have primeape in the lead, we're going to have the Dunsparce in the back, and we're also going to have the Gligar. Gligar is a pick that I actually did not think of myself, so shame for me there. I saw a comment under my top team video pointing out that this Pokemon might look very good, so for this person that wrote this, thanks so much for this tip, because honestly, this Pokemon is very good. We're going to have access to the fast move of Fury Cutter, but also we're going to have access to the charge move of Night Sash, while pairing this one with a very solid typing plus bulk stat for this Pokemon, giving you definitely a lot of play in the current meta. Why is this, basically the bug typing and the dark typing so important? There are quite a lot of Pokemon here in this meta that are running the Psychic type, as Dark type and Steel type Pokemon are both not allowed. Psychic typing as well as Dragon typing, because also Fairy types are not allowed, are going to be very, very strong. But Gligar is honestly a very nice Pokemon. It's very bulky, has a lot of play here. While the first battle is not really looking too good for us, we were never really able to have like our targets aligned. We will see the opponent still go for another charge move here. It is going to be the Dragon Claw, and as we will see here, Aerial Ace is going to connect against the opponent. It is not going to be enough to knock him out, sadly here. This is the thing as well, you can either run Aerial Ace or Dig as a move. I decided to go for Aerial Ace for certain reasons. The main reason why I decided to go ahead and go for Aerial Ace instead is because I want to have this team also function when basically my elite is gone. Because imagine we're going to encounter like a Fire type Pokemon in the back with Exa, which is resisted, Night Sash, which is resisted, and Dig, which is still neutral, very nice, but also takes a lot of energy. We're going to end up in maybe some scenarios where it's a bit struggling for the Gligar to get anything going, basically. Also, what is ridiculous, I've been, I think, debuffed from like 3 or 4 Moonblasts recently, like literally just in like the last, like, I don't know, 5, 6 that hit me, 3 or 4 of them really debuffed me, which is kind of crazy because it's a 10% chance for a debuff from Moonblast. And definitely got a little bit more commonly recently. Doesn't really matter, we're going to be able to knock out the opponent here. We're going to get out the opponent's Oranguru, which is playing it a bit risky because this could have also been a close combat, which we're not running. Why are we not running it? Because I don't really have charge TMs. I just built this primeape literally for this video, but also because I want to build it anyway. And Ice Punch was the first thing I got, which was usable, and so I just decided to stick with it instead of just trying to gamble to get close combat, as Ice Punch honestly was such a good move, which you're gonna see here today as well, and also you're gonna see tomorrow in a video. I already did a little bit more battles than what you see here as well with a different team, which was a lot of fun. Like, definitely feel free to subscribe to this channel so you see tomorrow's video as well. Would really appreciate it. It is free. Also, feel free to leave a like here. Would be really, really nice. But as you're going to see here, the opponent is going to have the Dragonair against us. Now we have a very neutral team here, by the way. We're going to have the Dunsparce having access to Rollout plus Drill Run is going to allow us to do a solid amount of damage against basically everything in the current meta. But as we will see here, we're going to be able to keep alignment. We're going to go for the Aqua Tail. I can go for the full Farm Down. I still have a charge restored. And we have now the Duron coming back in, which we can avoid with our flying and ground type Pokemon, which is quite important. But we can also do a lot of damage against them already with our rock stats that are coming through against the opponent. Of course, we're going to have a little bit of an issue here by not having close combat, but at this point, even Karate Chop itself is going to be very, very good. We will see here the opponent going into their own Dragonite. I decided to go for a Rage Fist in order to get the shield from them, and it's going to be a very close matchup. Can we still win the battle? It's going to be very, very difficult for us to still win this one. Dragon Claw is coming through from the opponent. We are going to be able to go for another Aerial Ace, which is going to connect against them. It is going to be a very close matchup here, and I have to say, the more I played this team, the better I kind of got the results with this, and so you're going to see definitely a lot of very positive matchups coming up soon. But sadly here, we're going to lose by 1 HP on the opponent, so 1 HP on my side as well. But yeah, we would have been 1 fast move away from a charge move. The opponent has a 1 HP left anyway. Good game to the opponent, very unfortunate, but we can move on to the next one. Encountering a quite decent lead and even a better save swap. We're going to encounter here the Marowak coming in against us. And this is the thing as well, I feel like a lot of people don't really expect Gligar right now, and this is definitely a sleeper pick because, yeah, most people don't really think about Gligar in general anymore after the recent nerf on Dig and Wing Attack. So yeah, here Fury Cutter is definitely very, very nice. Fury Cutter is still going to have the same energy generation that you had before already. With the wing attack, of course, not having the stab, not having the damage output as well. Can be a bit of a trickier one, but still, you're going to have the energy generation, you still do super effective damage against Oranguru and Giraffaric, and you're still going to have a lot of good coverage moves here. We're going to see again area ace coming through here. I'm fairly certain that 2 area ace doing a little bit more damage than 1 dig would have done, so again, here, the moveset choice is I think the ideal one for this team. What we also see is I'm going to kind of take some hits here on my own Dunsparce because there's no real reason to take the hit on my, way squishier Pokemon here, as I'm going to swap out straight away now into my Primeape just to get out the Jump Love, but they don't know that I have Ice Punch. Ice Punch is very unique on this Pokemon, and so we're going to be able to hit this. The opponent did not know anything, and we're going to get us into a very good position. We're going to have a ton of energy already on our other Pokemon. We're going to be able to get the shield from the opponent, but not only this, I'm still going to be able to use a shield here and force another shield from them, which is going to be great. As we will see here, it's going to be a CMP tie that is absolutely perfect. As we will see, Rachis is going to connect here, gonna get the shield from the opponent, and we will see the aerial ace coming through, allowing us to get some more energy on our Dunsparce. A Rock Slide is going to be easily enough to pick up the KO against the opponent Jump Love here, and the own Dunsparce from the opponent has no way to win this battle here. And with this, we're going to be able to move on. We're going to be able to move on against basically here the Altaria. We're going to be able to just go straight for the Ice Punch. And as said before, Ice Punch definitely is a little bit of a sleeper pick there for sure on this Pokemon as well. As, this is something that a lot of people just don't really expect. Also, the Oranguru is swapping in against us onto a Rock Slide. Great play by them. Rock Slide is doing way less damage than a Drill Run does. First, I think it's minus 15 damage compared to the Drill Run. Just generally speaking, I think Drill Run is 80 base power and Rock Slide is 65 now after the recent changes, which were definitely needed and were a good change. But as you will see here, we're still going to be able to pressure the opponent's Pokemon, which is going to be great. As we know already that our Gligar is going to have a great matchup here. We're going to let the move go through me. We know we're going to use a shield here against the opponent's Brutal Swing. That's fine. We do super effective damage. In comes the Altaria. I don't really care too much about Altaria at all. As we'll see, Sky Attack is coming through. We're going to try our best here to go for the Night Slash against the opponent. This is going to hopefully get the KO. And what I have to say as well about this team. Night Slash has a 12.5% chance of boosting. Guess how many boosts we're going to get here today? Not a single one. And that's something that definitely is going to be impactful as well. Because if you get a boost on the Gligar, it's going to help you out so much with different matchups later on. Never got the boost at all, which is of course under odds, but also, again, like if you're going to be a little bit lucky even with this team, which you have as a factor here as well, you're even going to have better results than I did here, even though, as you can see here, I had already some great results. And I'm also fairly certain that this team I'm most likely going to pick off. Like, I'm fairly certain a lot of people are going to try to run this team here, as it is a great team. Like, it is a great team that you should definitely give a try. You have coverage against basically everything. You're going to have a very good Sazop here and Dunsparce, which is a very neutral Pokemon to run. You have a great lead in a Primeape here, which, if you want to go for close combat, you're going to have some pressure against like even normal type Pokemon like the Oranguru, which are something that you usually don't really want to deal with. And I can tell you already from experience, there are sometimes matchups where you really would like to have close combat. Like I say, Ice Punch was really, really good, which you saw already as well, because I love Pokemon that are great targets basically for this one. The thing is, for sure, that there were also a lot of targets for close combat where I really was missing close combat. So, like, it's not a clear victory here for the move of Ice Punch in terms of being the better move to go for this meta. But it's a clear victory to go for a shield with the opponent's Arachnoid going for a Water Pulse here. This would have done a ton of damage. I tried to get the KO here already just with the fast move damage, but I barely do anything with the Fury Cutter. That's the one issue for this move. It's not really a strong move in terms of the damage output, but it generates energy quite fast. And that's going to be very important as well against next opponent's Pokemon, which is going to be a Drifblim, where we're going to send in now our Dunsparce to try to get a little bit of damage onto them here already. I tried to go for a Charge Move, sadly did not work at all, but at least I'm going to be able to go into my Primeape. And there's one thing here. The opponent definitely going to go for a shield, but there are two win cons for me. Either the opponent decides to go for an Ice Unit here and allows me to get to another Rage Twist afterwards and get the shield, which exactly is what they're trying to do as they swap out into the Oranguru, taking the Quarry Chop, allowing me to go for that extra move there, or I could farm them down maybe with the Fury Cutter. As we will see here, the only move that actually worked out is the one that we got up here as well, where we're going to be able to go for the Night Slash. This is a game that I definitely should have not really won, but the opponent made a huge mistake by swapping out, and it's going to be something that I definitely gladly take. So next opponent is going to have here the Ariados. Ariados is going to be a little bit of a tricky Pokemon for us to deal with, at least with our lead. Our backline is going to be totally fine against this one, and sadly they're going to have the Cresselia against us now. Cresselia, very bulky boy. As you can see here, we barely do any damage, especially after the launch debuff, which makes it a little bit of an awkward one for us. But what we can do here at least is we can let the move go through. We're going to be able to maybe farm up a little bit extra energy. And what I'm going to try to do here mainly is keep the energy for later, and I can swap on to the Gligar, and I just hope, please don't go for another Moonblast and don't get another debuff. That would be great. Luckily, we don't get a debuff, and we're going to see a Furfrou. Furfrou, very interesting Pokemon, I would say. Having access to the buffed Sucker Punch, making this Pokemon very, very solid. But there's maybe even some more normal type Pokemon that got access to the buffed move of Sucker Punch that have a lot of play in the current meta. The interesting thing about Furfrou is it has access to the move Surf, which is of course good against our Gligar. The issue is Surf got nerfed this season, taking now 5 extra energy while doing a little bit more damage, but 5 extra energy is very impactful, allowing us to just usually outspeed the opponent here as well, as Furfrou now lacks kinda a cheap charge move, which is kinda unfortunate for this Pokemon, because before, the synergy between Surf and Grass on this Pokemon was actually quite decent, but sadly with the Surf nerf, which again was kind of necessary, was kind of helping the meta as well, as Lantern is kind of gone now. I really enjoyed this nerf as well, don't get me wrong, like I don't think that the nerf is bad itself, it's just going to impact this Pokemon here. But anyway, we're going to see here the Night Slash coming through against the opponent's Ariados. It is Gligar against the World, we're going to see the Furfrou coming in, we're going to try to catch the move here, the opponent decides to just forfeit anyway, and we can move on to the second to last battle for today. Here's the thing about this matchup. If you have close combat, you could actually go straight for it and you just win the matchup in every single scenario. I just don't. And the opponent calls that. And it's interesting that the opponent calls this move, but maybe they just thought, oh, he's just gonna go for a bait, which I did not, because it's the best move I can go for to hit them. But what they didn't do is, they didn't reconsider that Clodsire might be a little bit weaker against moves like the Ice Punch. And here's the thing, Ice Punch is going to be super effective. We had +2 attack, Ice Punch is coming through, Ice Punch is doing a ton of damage. And what we will see as well here as well next, the opponent goes for a charge move. It's going to be a Sludge Bomb, and that is going to be great, because this means our Gligar all of a sudden is going to be a hard wall to the opponent's big chunky Clodsire here. And as we'll see, I'm just going to take a ton of energy. In comes the Dugong though, that is a bit of a tricky one. We are very likely forced to go for 2 charge moves. Yeah, we're definitely going to be forced for 2 charge moves here in order to try to get the KO against the opponent, or like just trying to get the Switch Clock up so I can swap out. But at least we're going to still be able to keep our Gligar for a little bit, which is going to be great. This is going to allow us like maybe later on then as well to align ourselves against the opponent's Clodsire. But as you're going to see here, we're going to be able to go for a Rock Slide first against the opponent's Dugong. That's going to be fine. Gonna get the shield. We're going to try to go for another one, but not before the opponent swaps out into the Feraligatr, allowing me to use the shield here. And they're going to be energy dry at this point. I can fully farm them down. I have Rock Slide stored for the Dugong. I'm going to have the other move stored here, what's called the Drill Run stored for the opponent's Clodsire. And at this point, I'm just in a very good spot. Like, I'm just literally in a very, very good spot. I can go ahead and go into my primeape. I can overfarm by quite a bit, going up to 2 Rage Fists, allowing me to get some damage off against the opponent's last Pokemon as well then. And so I am in a great spot. The opponent still has a shield left. Doesn't really matter to me. I can go for the Rage Fist. I'm going to be able to get that shield, but we still have another charge move stored anyway on our Dunsparce, allowing us to go for the Drill Run, allowing us to win the battle. And we can now move on to the final battle of today's video. So, let's see who we're going to have here. We're going to have the Oranguru against us, and this is going to be a little bit of an awkward matchup, but what we have here next is going to be Licky against Dunsparce. And I think that's going to be a very bad matchup for us. I don't actually think so. The issue here is for the opponent that Body Slam got nerfed to the ground. Luckily for me, I would say. Like, I feel like it is a better move like this as well. Like, I think it's just more fair and balanced. You don't have Licky Tongue everywhere. You don't have, like, people, just like Pokemon generally speaking, that are just getting super overpowered just because they have Body Slam. And so what is going to allow us though as well is do a little bit more damage with our Dunsparce. Body Slam is 50 damage, adding the stab on top of it, you are ending up at like around like 62 damage. And we're going to have Drill Run, which does 80 damage, of course. I'm just confusing the numbers now. So we're always going to do a little bit more damage. And what we can do now as well is we want to be able to align ourselves here against the opponent's Oranguru, which is going to be totally okay for me. Now a Night Slash is going to be able to get the shield. And we're going to try our best to go for another one. but we're gonna let the next move go through, which is a bit of a risky play here if the opponent wants to swap out afterwards. It's going to be a Trailblaze, and I'm gonna be able to go for another move here. I just have to hope that I'm also going to be able to reach another move later on against the opponent, but as we'll see, the opponent is very low on health already. I can use a shielding and see a brutal swing, and we're gonna see the Klotzer in the back. That's going to be a matchup that is very likely very tough for us to beat, but maybe we can still pull through. Let's find out here. Rage is coming through, getting the attack buff for ourselves. The thing that I'm kind of trying to rely on now is that the opponent thinks that I'm running the Rage Twist cross combat moveset, but I am not. I'm running Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to connect. Ice Punch is doing a ton of damage. I am going to be even able to reach another Rage Twist afterwards, forcing the opponent to use a shield here against us, and this is going to put us into the perfect spot for Gligar to shine, for Gligar to sweep. But can we actually pull it off? The opponent is going to decide to swap out very soon here into the Oranguru. We still survive. Aerial Ace is coming through. This is going to be game, because I will have even still survived the opponent's fast move and still got to another move here as well. And so this is going to be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.